We'll generate well over $100 million in retention revenue this year for our clients. And in this video, I'm going to walk through the top 4 strategies that I recommend for your e-commerce brand if you want to make more money from retention. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into this here on my Remarkable. And the first one is very simple. It's another channel that you can add that you've probably heard about, but you've never implemented it. So that's direct mail. So direct mail is super profitable and it's such an amazing channel. And obviously this used to be big back in the day, but it's coming full circle right now. And when we speak to clients and people that haven't done this, they generally get overwhelmed with it. They don't know where to start. They don't know what platform to use. And they're really just unsure. Okay, I'll just walk through a couple of things here and I'll keep this pretty short because I've got a whole nother video on this. So we recommend using Postpilot here. This is what we use for all of our clients, and this is our go-to direct mail partner. I've actually done a lot of marketing stuff with them as well. I've done a webinar with their CEO, Drew, which was amazing, which is on this YouTube channel. So we recommend Postpilot. Now, what does this look like? Where do you start? How much do you spend? And how do you even go about this? So there's really 2 parts of this. The first part is, let's just say this is you want to test. Okay, so you want to test, and this is test different segments to see what's going to be the most profitable, what's going to bring you the highest return. So some easy wins that you can do here is you can do like a win back segment, you can do a cross-sell segment, and you can also do like an abandoned checkout segment, ideally a higher AOV segment here, okay? So you'll test each one of these, and you know how much you spend all depends on how much cash you have and how much revenue you're doing. If you just want like a ballpark figure, just take like 1% of your monthly revenue and spend that on your first test, okay? So we have clients here that will start really small with like a 2K test. We've had clients start with like a 20K test, okay? So it all depends on what feels comfortable to you. So let's say your win back then brings back like a 4X, your cross sell a 3X, and your abandoned checkout a 2X. Then what you will do, you will then automate what works best. So here in this case, you could actually automate all of them, but let's just say we take the win back and the cross sell, we then automate these. Okay, so then we basically put these into flows so they're automated. Now what you can also do inside of that automation, you can also run an A/B test to try and get these numbers even better. And then what you'll do then, so I guess this is part B here, is to automate. And then what you can also do is you can go back and then you can test more segments. Okay, so let's say you test a different type of segment in a win back or a cross sell. So let's say you do like 2nd to 3rd purchase, you can then test that. Okay, or maybe you go 3rd to 4th purchase, you test that. Maybe you test a like handwritten letter. Okay, and then you test that. And then whatever works really good, then you bring that over to your automation. Okay, if it doesn't work, then you just test again. Okay, and basically this is how you scale direct mail. Now I could talk all day about this, but let's move on to strategy number 2, which is one of my favorite things, and this is third-party integration. So third-party integrations is huge for retention in 2026. And this basically just allows you to get your retention more profitable, and for what you have set up, basically just get more bang for your buck, okay? So there's a couple of different things that I recommend here. You can use this for like triggers on your flows. So basically Klaviyo will probably capture like 80% of those triggers. You can leverage different softwares to help trigger your flows more, and also to have like different AI triggers in there as well. Okay, so there's a lot of different platforms here. You can use like Black Crow, you can use, and Triple Whale have their own. We've not seen great results with that, to be honest. Don't recommend using that one. We use a company called Restore AI because they give great free trials for our clients. Okay, so that's kind of like on triggers and your flows. You can also do it for like AI segmentation. So there's a couple of different platforms that you can use here, but you can basically use a platform like Arita for AI segmentation, which will basically build like data points on customers and a lot more. They go off like dozens of different data points or hundreds, compared to Klaviyo will go off only a few. Like you're probably segmenting your customers right now from like, you know, clicks and opens and if they purchased or didn't purchase, but Arita will go off hundreds of different data points to build different segments. Okay, you can also use something like zero bounce. So if you're looking to add profiles back or suppress profiles, you can use zero bounce, which will probably reduce like 10% of your list from like bot emails or emails that are no longer active. So highly recommend that. You can also use stuff for your pop-ups. So obviously your pop-ups is one of the biggest like levers that you can pull in regards to your retention revenue and growing your list. So if you use a platform like Alia, which will just have better interactive pop-ups, and they also have like an AI feature in there, it's just really, really good. And all these platforms that I'm actually recommending are like Klaviyo's preferred as well. So definitely recommend adding this in. We have this pop-up platform for, I'd say like 30% of our clients, maybe even more. The next one, which is really cool, is interactive emails. So these are basically just emails that you can actually take actions inside of the email. So you can like buy now one click with subscription brands. You can scroll inside of the email. You can do like a flip to reveal or a click to reveal. You can leave feedback or give reviews inside of the email. So you don't have to go to a checkout, a landing page, or to the website or whatever it is. So we recommend using Zamo here. Really, really good, especially for subscription brands. And funny enough, a lot of these platforms that I'm talking about here are third-party apps. I actually met at different Klaviyo events. So it's really important to get out there, go to some of these events and meet some of these people. And then also like another one that I would recommend is just around data, because if you can go off of real data and you can truly understand what customers buy first and then what product they buy after that, or what's the LTV per product, or what's your best flow or your best send time or your best open rate or your best subject lines. Like if you understand all of this data, it's going to give you more firepower so you can make way more money from retention. And here we use Hero Analytics, which is just great. It gives you a dashboard with just so much data, and we have this for every single one of our clients. So this is all on third-party integrations, and we have like a lot more here. There's other ones that we're testing out, other ones that we're using. These will be some of the main ones. Yeah, definitely go implement these. I'll leave the links to some of these softwares in the description below as well, so you can go test them out. Step number 3, and you probably know this already, but you're more than likely not implementing it for your brand. We audit dozens of brands every single month, and we see this. It doesn't matter if they're doing 200K a month or 2 million a month or even more. We generally see this being neglected by a lot of brands and even other agencies. Number 3 is A/B testing. Now, you might be like, Jordan, that's so simple, okay? But if you A/B test and you do it right, you can drive up your retention revenue massively, okay? But it's like the 80-20 principle here. Honestly, it really is the 80-20. If we were to flick back a couple of years, we literally used to run an A/B test in every single campaign for every single client. And it was kind of wild. It was just like an SOP that we had was like every campaign has to have an A/B test. And then it came to the point where we were just A/B testing for the sake of it. And we had so much data that we didn't even really analyze. And a lot of it would like conflict each other. What we done then is we just simplified it. And we're like, what's the most important stuff to A/B test? So what I'd recommend to test here, and if you just do this, like watching this video will pay dividends, okay? So the first one is like your welcome number 1, right? If you A/B test in your flows, your welcome number 1 is gonna be massive. You can also A/B test your abandoned checkout, and this would be like 1, 2, and 3. If you just do this, you will see massive results, okay? Now, when you're A/B testing, then it's like, okay, Jordan, I get that, but what do I optimize for? What do I actually test? So generally what you wanna test is like your lowest performing metric. So what is your LPM, okay? So this is generally your open rate, your click rate, or your place order rate. So if we're looking at the open rate, obviously that's gonna be the main stuff that we can optimize there is the sender name, the subject line, the preview text, or you could even look at the send time. So you can optimize them. Then if it's the click rate, then it's obviously what's actually in the email, the opening, the design style, the copy, okay? Then you wanna optimize that. And then if it's the place order metric, this is where we send the traffic to. Is it going to the checkout, homepage, landing page, advertorial? Where is this going to? Now, to be totally honest, so if you have your open, you have your click, and you have your placed order. Most of the time, the one where you're gonna see the biggest ROI is actually in the email and optimizing like better click rate. And we recently had a client where we took their abandoned checkout email from a 6% to like over a 10% on their abandoned checkout email 1. And this client is doing over 10 million a month. Okay, so with their volume, that test alone and those, like that win, is going to bring them like an extra couple of $100,000. It could even be more in revenue this year because of a couple of tests. This was 2 tests that we done, and really interesting, and I have another video on this as well. But this is basically, we just took the abandoned checkout, we simplified it, we simplified the first email in that abandoned checkout. Then once that bet the original test, then we just turned that text email into a design email and it done even better. Okay, so we drove up this by like 60% here, okay, which is just absolutely massive. So highly recommend doing this. And a lot of people don't do it. And then sure, you can run tests on your campaigns as well with send times or different things. It's easy to do in campaigns. But if you don't do anything other than this, just make sure that you test this here, okay? Make sure you test the welcome 1 and your abandoned checkout 1, 2, and 3. And then thing number 4, okay, just send in more volume. In 2025, we really discovered this because we really pushed the boundaries on like how much volume can we actually send. And there's another video on the channel here where I talk about, we're working with a client that hit their first $1 million day, and we sent like 16 campaigns in a 24-hour period. And what we've generally found is that brands that are willing to push more volume are just gonna make more money. Okay, and it doesn't have to be discount emails all the time. You want to do 3 different types of emails, okay? So the first one you want to do is you want to educate, you also want to build relationships, and you also want to like push for conversions, okay? So generally this is what I recommend. And you can mix this up between like plain text design and then like a hybrid, which is kind of a mix of both. But if you were to break it down, like the more volume you send, and I'm kind of talking campaigns here, but also on your flows, like the more volume you send with campaigns, the more your flows are going to trigger. I'm kind of stuck for a room here, but let's say you send 10x campaigns a month versus if you were to send 40x. Every time you send a campaign, people will take actions. They will click, they will open. Then when they get to the site, let's say these are different pages on the site. These are different triggers. Let's say this is your browse or your view. This is your cart trigger, this is your abandoned checkout, and then this is your placed order. These are different landing pages. The more campaigns you send, the more these triggers are gonna fire, and the more they're gonna trigger your flows, which means more people are gonna be in your flows, so your flows are gonna make more money. You wanna just send a whole lot more volume, and we've tested this and we've just found that more volume just equals to more money, okay? It's really important that you do this. Any specific questions, just reach out and let me know here. But just to recap, and I can talk a lot more about this, but just to recap here, number 1 is direct mail. Just make sure you have direct mail for your business, honestly, even if you just spend a couple of grand a month. Next is add in different third-party integrations. Add in Arita, add in Zamo, add in Alia, okay? Get these apps implemented for your business, okay? They're gonna pay a massive ROI. Next is just to make sure you're A/B testing. You don't have to do this in every flow, you don't have to do this in every single campaign, but make sure you do it for your welcome 1, your abandoned checkout 1, 2, and 3. And then number 4 then is just send more volume. How much do we recommend? I recommend doing minimum of 20 campaigns per month, but we have some clients that do 30, 40, 50. I'm pretty sure during November we had a client to send over 70 campaigns in 1 month, okay? So that's it. Those are the 4 strategies that I recommend for your e-commerce brand. And if you want our agency Retention for Brands to do all of this for you so we can reduce your cost to acquire a customer and increase your LTV, click the link below and you can apply for a free retention audit. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, cheers.